In the corridors, a lot of the talk is still about the Duffy diaries, which came out as evidence after day one. One particular part is getting a lot of chatter.
I haven't talked a lot about the Mike Duffy trial for a couple of reasons. First of all, I haven't been following it intimately and closely. It's a criminal trial, and I guess if I'm not following the minutiae in the courthouse, it's best for me not to weigh in. The second reason is I have a small interest in the matter. You see, 5 years ago or so, before I was with the Sun News Network, when I was a freelancer, I wrote a couple of speeches for Mike Duffy in the Senate, and I'll actually be called to talk about those at the trial. But that disclosure aside, I have watched enough of the press coverage to have some opinions about how the trial is unfolding. And there's only one thing I want to talk about, which is a massive document that the police and the Crown prosecutor revealed in open court. So every single journalist in the country has it right now. It is Mike Duffy's personal diary. Now, he wrote it on a computer at the office, I suppose, which is how they got a copy of it, or maybe they got a search warrant, but whatever the way they got a hold of it, they have his most intimate facts, day after day, year after year. And here's what I mean by intimate facts. Conversations he had with his wife, personal events, personal meetings, and private details. Like, look at this strange thing. He had his email password changed, and he put that in his diary, I guess, to remember it. For some reason, the police took his internet password, published it to the world, and gave it to every single reporter and anti-Duffy political partisan in the country. Why? What about record after record of his personal health matters? Every memo regarding a meeting he had with a doctor, a call he had with a doctor. Why on earth is that released? Is Mike Duffy on trial for doing something criminal with regards to his personal health? No, of course not. This is just pure voyeurism. And why would the RCMP or the prosecutors not black out his personal health issues? Let me give you one example, and I'm sorry to mention it on air, but I want to do it to show you how crass this whole thing is. Mike Duffy obviously has some health issues, but like the rest of us, he has his ups and downs, and one day he put in his diary that he was feeling explosive from garlic casseroles. Is that relevant? So a guy marks down that he's farting in his diary. And look, if you Google that phrase, you will see more than 80 news stories making fun of Mike Duffy's indigestion and gas. Now, I suppose it's funny, and I guess I'm talking about it here, but I'm talking about it to point out what this trial has become. It has become a personal combing through of private matters of Mike Duffy that have nothing to do with his alleged crimes. And I suppose that's because the law and the facts themselves are tough to get through and maybe even a little bit boring. And when you have literally 100 journalists on bleachers, circus style around Mike Duffy, it's a lot more fun to poke fun at the fact that, you know, he had gas one day, or to go through and count out how many times he went to Swiss Chalet for dinner as opposed to this place. There are personal details, not just about Mike Duffy, but about many of the people he dealt with. Email addresses, street addresses, phone numbers, none of which have anything to do with the matters at trial, none of which were blacked out. Let me show you one more thing that I find especially disturbing. Mike Duffy was a senator, and senators generally in the scheme of things are not that important. But occasionally senators have access to confidential information. For example, when a senator attends a caucus meeting, that is confidential. What I mean by that is when all the MPs and senators get together to talk about legislation, it has to be done privately before they go into the House of Commons, privately so they can talk candidly without media picking through it. Mike Duffy would make notes on these caucus meetings in his diary, but look at this. Something that's explicitly confidential. I'm not going to call it a state secret, but certainly a confidence. And look at the RCMP. They just took a black marker and went scribble, scribble, scrabble over it. And you can read everything written underneath this half-assed attempt to black it out. It's not even a real attempt. It's just, oh yeah, black that out, black that out. I have seen hundreds of access to information requests in my time from government agencies, and when they don't want you to know their secrets, they black it out, they white it out, you cannot see it. But hell, this is just Mike Duffy's diary. Yeah, scribble it out, nothing serious. I'm not speaking to the charges against Mike Duffy. I have no idea if he's guilty or not of fraud. I'll leave that to the court. I'm not talking about anything substantive or legal. I'm talking about a police and prosecution that felt it appropriate to divulge an entire man's diary to the world, and worse, a press gallery that, like Pavlov's dog, you throw them something titillating about old Mike. Ha ha, he had the farts that day. Oh, and they'll run with it. Question, if the case against Mike Duffy was strong, why did they have to throw this to the press gallery? Just to distract them, just to keep the circus going? I think that anyone who has ever written a private note, a private diary, or has a health issue they don't want their neighbors to see should be disgusted, not just with the conduct of the Crown, but with the media too. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.